good night. This is episode 4, and honestly, this episode is very dear in my heart because you know in Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, the first one, I was actually 12 when I first watched it. If I was 12, that was 2005 or something. And in this episode with the Chimera and the little kid, that that was the first time I watched it, and honestly, I stopped watching the anime. So this episode is a bit traumatic to me to this day, actually, in a way, just because I have the memory. Not that I care about it a lot because I've watched a lot, but still, it's kind of funny. This episode is very interesting. It's actually nowadays because I watched it too much. I really don't care about it that much. But if you actually pay attention, it actually exposes a lot of story. It's actually not. It's not just any episode. They really take the time to tell you as much story as they can, which is really cool. But what is interesting about this episode, first of all, is this is the first episode they show Scar, which is which is cool. Which they really associate Scar with the moon already at the beginning. They really show him as the bad guy at the beginning, and really, if you think about it, because of how unreasonable he seems to be, and to be honest, even if you know his reasons, nothing justifies what he's doing actually, which is really messed up. But this is actually a cool archetype for you to delve in. Again, it goes hand in hand with the SJW route. The only difference is his reasons are more noble, quote unquote. It's like, oh, his people or his religion, but really it's the same thing. It's the same thing. He just let his rage take care of him, take hold of his decisions. He literally stopped living to take vengeance on people that don't exist anymore. And even if you say, oh, it's his brother, it doesn't matter, dude. It's like he's ruining his life, he's ruining his potential family, he's ruining his family's name or whatever. For what exactly? For nothing. So it's a really cool archetype for her to dwell in, and it's something we can like stop and actually think about it in our own lives and how this applies to us. And the other archetype that is really cool, and it will only be in this episode, so we better talk about, is Show Tucker. Show Tucker is essentially the government worker archetype, which if you're a government worker, you probably know what I'm talking about, but most government workers, they're lazy. Once they get in, they just want to retire. They don't care. They literally start the job just looking to retire in 30 years. They stop living. They stop doing anything. Which again, now that I'm talking about, it's not very different from Scar, so it's kind of cool. And if you think about it, Show Tucker, he was poor. He was very miserable, as he would tell his story. And once he got just a whiff of money, he just had to hold on to it as much as possible. So much so that he's literally sacrificing his whole family just for money, which is disgusting, just ridiculous. And also he's sacrificing everything because deep down he knows he's a loser. And even worse, he's outcome dependent, which means he really needs the money in a way. He really needs that security. And he doesn't think in ways to make himself, anti-fragile, and to make himself just go in a path where he just wins, independently what happens. And honestly, a guy that sacrifices all his loved ones just for money is just repugnant and ridiculous. And the fact he actually compared himself to Edward, it's kind of disgusting. I get his point, and something interesting that happens in this episode, and it will happen again and again in a lot of the episodes in the anime. You know, again, going back to the World War II dilemma, just remember that in World War II there were a lot of human experiments, and there's a huge theme in this anime in particular about human experiments. And the Japanese, for some reason, were way more. They say they were way more ruthless than the Germans. And I'm not gonna doubt that the Americans were also ruthless in human experiment, but you know, they're the winners. The winners write history, so they will never tell us what they did, anyways. And anything that shows up, they would just blame on the Nazis. But I'm pretty sure everybody was doing it. But this anime tackles this whole human experiment dilemma very interesting. They tackle it in really genius ways if you think about it. And this chimera theme is one of them, and also there are other ones that I'm not really gonna talk about it because there will be other episodes to talk about. And in this episode, they already tease about Winry, you know, Ed's girlfriend, essentially, future wife or whatever. And there is not a lot to talk about her for now. And again, I love it that we're in the fourth episode and there's so much story just exposed in this very clever way that really they barely talk about it. There is dialogue, but really it's seamless. It's seamless. There's really not a lot of exposition or everything, and they do it in such a fluid way where really just sounds, I don't know, the world just seems alive, just sounds alive. It's kind of amazing actually. Dude, besides that, for now I think that's it. So if you like this video, please like the video. Hit the like button, I guess. If you like the channel, subscribe. If you like me dying, like the video and subscribe, please. If you have any constructive criticism, please comment below. I'd like to get the engagement. The haters can come. I don't care. Thank you very much and good night.